It's been 24 hours since the worst tragedy in Isla Vista's history, and the mood is still somber, and passers-by are out here mourning the loss of those 4 who died here. Teenagers came within an inch of their lives, but they appear to be better now after having gone to the hospital. Law enforcement officials, for their part, are very concerned about just how easy it is to find this plant. It would take about 5 years for them to designate that critical habitat, land set aside for the tiger salamander. Contentious issue, especially for ranchers in Buellton, northern Santa Barbara County. About 200,000 people use this area of Goleta Gersh Park each year. Right in the middle of a very busy area of Goleta, a lot of congestion, housing, businesses. Now, this is just one of the stops that the protesters are going to be making, this one in Santa Barbara. They're taking a trip all the way up through the West Coast. As they protest, they'll be going up to Sacramento and Portland, holding rallies in those communities as well. The crew rests a bit after attacking a blaze at 3 businesses on the 1800 block of State last night. They had it contained in about a half hour. Sunday morning, cleanup crews worked on scene, trying to put the badly damaged Adams and Jones opticians shop into some semblance of order. The fire appeared to start in the back of the business, right next to this large spray-painted racial epithet on one of the doors.
It's obviously very sad, and it does appear to be a hatred crime, and he's come from another country to try to make his life in the United States, and he loves the United States. He's always been very nice to me.
Eric Peterson is an architect with a business upstairs. His business, along with Anna's Nails downstairs, received a fair amount of smoke damage. It was February when Martin Hartman allegedly set Clinton Rissiter on fire in his Mitchell-Terena Street apartment because he was gay. This arson is only a few blocks away from that one. Despite such an occurrence, Peterson never expected to see anything like this in the city of Santa Barbara.
We've had, you know, the trivial little graffiti here and there, but nothing like this. It's the last thing I could imagine. When I got the phone call last night, I was totally surprised.
The optometrist moved to America more than 8 years ago from Nigeria. He would not speak to Key News on camera, but he did have a statement. He says, quote, "I like Santa Barbara and the people here and everything, but I think there's got to be a better way to resolve differences," end quote. The optometrist's office and the glass-making equipment inside are a total loss.
The structural damage is fairly severe to the offices of the optometrist in the back. That probably is in the $70,000 to $100,000 minimally, I'm thinking.
They function like an assembly line, chainsawing the base of these Christmas trees, hammering in the wood that makes the trees stand up straight. The volunteers from Infogenesis, Albertsons, and the Santa Barbara Cancer Center had to do it quickly, too, with 60 trees to be delivered to needy families, and at least one member of each of those families having cancer.
7 more for delivery.
Most of these men and women, all of whom helped raise $3,500 to buy the trees, really look forward to spreading some Christmas cheer.
This is my first year participating in the program, and I'm about to go on my first delivery, and I can't wait, because I understand that delivering that tree to that family is just an incredible experience.
I think I do it primarily to show my children that, you know, even though there's so many lights and wonderful things with Christmas, that there's some people that have some tough times, and it's kind of nice to bring them some cheer.
So one by one, each of them ties up the trees and pulls out of Albertson's driveway. Each of the Infogenesis employees that participates in the program puts 3 to 5 trees on their car and then delivers them. This stop is on the Santa Barbara East Side. The Glynn family is making this delivery, and the East Side residents they meet are very happy to see them, and the Christmas tree they have. The family shares one large room, and one of these young children has cancer. It's an eye-opening experience for young Melissa Glynn, who made the delivery with Mom and Dad.
Around Christmas time, everything's really happy and stuff, and some people aren't that happy during Christmas, and just being able to experience that makes you feel really thankful for what you have.
I thought it was amazing. I mean, everybody from Camarillo came to see David come attend his funeral. It just shows you how many people he knew, how much he was liked by everyone, how charming it was.
Most of the people at the Conejo Mountain Cemetery felt overwhelmed, too, by the death of David Gershader and the significance of how he lived his life.
That these young people who are crying got a little sense of reality today, that their lives are vulnerable, that they need to slow down and realize that we parents are just not preaching to them, but we know a little bit more. And I also see that David just touched everyone.
And most people, children or adults, would want to live by his example. Friends uniformly describe him as brilliant and incredibly bright. But above all, he was kind to even the most shy of his peers. Tyler Vickers has his own personal example to draw from.
First year of high school, I went to Bonaventure. I didn't really know many people. He just came, grabbed me, took me around school, was showing me the ropes.
And that's exactly what David did. He would always look at the kid who was shy or didn't have much confidence, and he would say, come on, let's go. And the kid thought he was kind of crazy, you know, but that was David. And he was never afraid to face a challenge, and he told others to do the same. And just a brilliant young man with great, great heart, come from a great family.
On a night such as tonight, with the events that have taken place here, everyone mourns in their own way. Crying, using each other for support, lighting candles, and of course, flowers.
And just walking around IV all day today, I've seen people from all directions come carrying flowers. And so it's really nice to see that not only the personal family or the personal acquaintances of these victims came out and showed their grief, but really the Isla Vista community as a whole.
Some people expressed remorse that this could happen in this community in the first place.
Having been here 4 years, it's quite unusual to have a tragedy like this at our school, because our school is full of bright people and a lot of people who are here to learn.
Last night's accident scene on Sabado Tarde could not have been more surreal. It's forced people to take a realistic step back.
A lot of the times things like these just bring, life in general and back into perspective. So the past 2 days, or at least the past day and a half, has been more introspective and reflective.
And then there are notes attached to this makeshift memorial expressing simple lines from Paul McCartney's Let It Be, expressing the sadness of this loss.
I think it's great because it just reflects an entire community that's, really concentrating on a grave loss.